Welcome to the Homemade Mother. My name is Jasmine, and this is my channel. Well, hey there. How's it going? It is officially the month of love. In today's video, we will be making a heart-shaped scrap fabric wreath. It's so simple. I absolutely love how simple it is, and it's also really cheap. So for this project, you will need a heart-shaped wreath form. I got mine from the dollar store for $1.25, but you could probably find these at any craft store. You will also need a pair of fabric scissors. I say fabric scissors because they're the most equipped to cut out all of your scrap fabric. You will also need about 2 meters of scrap fabric. Potentially I will definitely need a steamer. My fabric is a little bit wrinkly, and I also have a feeling that it's not going to lay flat right away, so I'm going to steam it at the end to get all of my fabric to lay nicely flat. So that's what you need to make this project. Are you ready to go? Great, me too. All right, so what I did for this project was I actually had some curtains that were way too long, and I cut off a fairly large chunk on each of the curtains to hang on one of our windows. And I kept all the scrap fabric because I'm that kind of person. And so I actually just took all of the fabric from those curtains, and that's what I'm using for today's project. But you could use any fabric you'd like. You can purchase new, or you could use scrap fabric. I am going for a very simple look by only doing white fabric, and it's all the same. There isn't any other types of fabric, but you could have multiple types if you wanted to do like an ombre design or something like that. I'm not doing that. I'm making it super simple just because 1, it's way easier that way, and 2, I'm kind of simple and I like that. With that, let's jump right in. So the very first thing I did was I actually took all of my scrap fabric and I just cut them into long strips. I wasn't being super precise. I didn't use a ruler or anything like that. I probably could have, but honestly, because it's a scrap fabric wreath, I wasn't too worried about it being perfectly straight, because you're not really gonna notice whether or not I cut it 100% straight or not. So I just sliced them into long strips, and then I took those long strips and I divided them into 3 equal lengths. Super easy. So once I did that, I got a giant pile of scrap fabric, and we are going to take all this fabric and our heart wreath, and all you're going to do, super simple, you're going to start on the bottom edge. It's really important that you start on the bottom because of the way that the fabric's going to lay. It's going to be a lot easier if you start here, because each layer is going to cover over top of the other layer. So you want to make sure that all of the heart wreath form is covered. And basically all you're going to do is you're going to take your fabric and you're going to tie it into a knot. And you want to make sure that your knot is nice and tight, but that is literally all you're trying to do. You're going to push your fabrics to the side, and then you're going to add another piece. And you're going to keep doing that until that section is filled. Now along the way, I noticed I had some strips that were thicker than other strips, and I just cut them in half to make it easier for myself to be able to tie them around the wreath form. Alright, so our first layer is on. Now what we're going to do is do the exact same thing, but we're going to do it onto the next layer. Our second layer is on, and this is what it looks like. Now we're going to add our final layer. This one is a lot smaller, so it's going to take a lot less strips. Alright, we got our first section done, and it looks like this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move up into each section. I'm going to go section by section, and I'm going to finish here. I just find it the easiest way to go around. Let's do that. So the bottom half of our wreath is done, and this is what it looks like. Now for the top half, when you tie on your fabric, make sure that you're tying your fabric away from the inside of the heart, because otherwise you'll cover up the middle and you won't be able to tell what the shape is. So when you're tying it, make sure that you tie it away from the middle. And once again, you're going to start with the outside and move your way in. All right, we got one half of our heart top done. Now we're going to do the other side, and again, we're going to be working outwards. Now, one of the things I love about this wreath specifically is it doesn't require sewing or gluing or anything like that. It's really, really easy to put together. And if you ever wanted, you could always cut all of the pieces off and reuse the frame. All right, we're at the last stage of our wreath. All we have to do is fill in this one. Once you put all of your fabric on and you still have leftovers, you can go through and check the wreath to see if there's any big gaps. And you push your fabric to the one side, and if there seems to be a fairly large hole, you can add in a couple extra strips of fabric. All right, and once your wreath is totally done, it should look like this. Now, see how all of these are a little bit on the floppy side? They're not going exactly where I want them to go. That's what I'm gonna do with the steamer. I'm gonna take the steamer and I'm just going to coax all the fabric to go the direction I want it to go. All right, and there you have it. A beautiful, simple, easy wreath. Although this wreath is fairly easy to make, it is quite time consuming. In total, it took me about an hour to make this. That includes cutting the fabric into all the strips and then attaching all the fabric onto the wreath. While it's easy, it does take. Well, that's it for today. This project is so simple. It's the perfect DIY for Valentine's Day. Now stay tuned for next week when we do a really easy Valentine's Day dessert that you can make at home so easily without almost any effort, just in time for Valentine's Day. Well, it was so nice to hang out with you guys again, and happy Valentine's Day. I'm so excited for this month of love. Ta-ta for now.